I get the feeling this thing is not the best receiver in the world. I've been using it for a couple of days, talking on it. It'd make a great CB radio when you learn how to set the AM on it. I think that's what most of them got used for, didn't they? I've heard like a ton of these on 11 meters, I'm pretty sure. Maybe not so much anymore. Like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, somewhere around that, when I first started getting into ham, I remember hearing a lot of people on CB radio using these. I mean, just imagine having one of these radios back in the CB days. Well, you know, you had a 100-watt radio for sideband, and it's super fucking accurate. Compare this to like something like a Galaxy or an RCI 2950 or something. Like, there's so many radios that they made that are for like 10 and 11 meters that are just like piles of shit. Let's be honest. They have all kinds of issues. There's no way can you take a radio the size of a Cobra 29 and populate all the stuff on that board with 80s technology and come anywhere near what this radio can do. So, something like this, I'm not telling people go out and buy these to use them on 11 meters, but these radios are reliable. They've even got the same transistors that they use in all the CB amplifiers that all the BBI people want, and all them guys. They all want the 2879s, and these are the legitimate Toshibas. So, for those that don't know about amplifiers and 2879s, even MFJ built an amplifier for all HF that used those. They cover like 3 to 30 megahertz, maybe a little bit more one way or the other. I don't really think that they like to work on 160, but anyway, the original Toshibas are called the Red Dot, and then after that they come out with some other crap, and then they ran out of them and quit making them. And then ham radio manufacturers didn't use them after a certain point in time, and then they became really expensive. And then the other companies that started making them, I won't get into all the names of them, but none of them worked as good as the Toshibas. And so all these crazy CB amplifier builders like that BBI guy and all these other people literally want these transistors out of these old radios because they're legitimate Toshibas. And, you know, they'll take them all and they'll get a pile of these transistors from different places. I mean, there's guys out there that go to Hamfest and buy these radios just for the transistors. Now, I personally can't see the transistor being worth the price of admission on the radio. And I personally don't see the point in having like a 20 transistor amplifier where it's a pretty good chance sooner or later it's going to blow itself up. When you could go and buy something with tubes in it. You know, I'm not a fan of tube amplifiers, honestly, either, but a 20 pill amplifier, you know, a 4 pill, 5 pill, whatever you want to call them, pill shaped transistors, you know, 10 transistor, 20, 16. You know, they made an amplifier called a Sweet 16 because it had 16 of these things in there. Each one of those Toshibas is capable of probably about 150 watts each. If you have a radio like this, you could technically fiddle around with it and probably get 300 watts out of it. He would probably damage something else in the process, but in the CB amp, a 2-pill is 300 watt. How's that happen? Well, you're getting 150 out of each one. Now, there's a lot of other amplifiers out there, MRF, Motorola, they have a little stud on them on one end, and they look about the size of an aspirin pill. They look more like pills. These damn things look more like quarters, but those other ones, they do like, between 30 and, usually 65 watts each. But you get some decent peak power out of them. But these Toshibas, they do 150 each. And I think you can push them further than that. So, these guys are like, running a 10 transistor amplifier. I mean, like, you're getting legal limit out of that thing, I guess, So, 4 of them, 600 watts. 8 of them, 1200. So, it just, and there's ones that they have 16 of them. So with 16, you can drive it and get 1,000 watts pretty easy. But I just don't see where it's beneficial to tear apart one of these radios. But I could see using one of these radios on 11 meters, honestly. They do sound really good on sideband, and I've been talking to the regular guys on the radio. I don't tell them what I'm on all the time. If it's bad, they're going to say, oh my God, what radio are you on? And they don't complain about it, and they don't ask me to turn on an amplifier or anything like that. So a lot of times, I have certain radios that aren't really like loud or whatever, and they just don't punch through. And like, are you barefoot? Are you 100 watts? I'm almost always 100 watts. I just, like, there's only like a few people for me to talk to on the radio locally, and if you can hear me without the amp, I'm not going to turn the amplifier on and heat up the room. It really does heat up the room in the winter. It doesn't, but in the summer it does. So I would be perfectly fine with a 200 watt radio. I wouldn't ever need an amplifier. There is nothing that important on the radio where I need to run an amplifier. I've been doing this a little while now, and I just don't really care anymore. Like, okay, I'll try it a different day, Some DX stations on the radio that can't hear me. Oh, well. Wasn't meant to be. But anyway, I don't think this has the greatest receiver in the world, but anyway, I've been playing around with it, and I'm just listening to some people on here right now. But I trust this radio a lot more than anything else. I can open this radio up and I can fix all the bad solder connections. I can replace the discrete parts if I can figure out what's wrong with it. It's older than some of the other radios I've been working on. Like, it's older than the 751, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what year it came out, but it's a good radio. Now, another thing I was thinking about, too, was since I have this here, I'm like, I hate to do this, but I've got 2 broken 751 ICOMs. I'm like, I should just put all the good stuff in one radio and be done with it. So I was thinking about that, too. But anyway, I just thought I would talk about the ts430 for a minute. And it does not have an SWR meter, by the way. But you got a button for everything. Lower sideband, upper sideband, CW, AM, and FM. You don't have to push sideband button twice to go to the other sideband, which is something I really like. I don't like how like Yaesu does it on everything, where you have a mode button. I don't want a mode button. I want a button for the mode, not one button that does all. I don't want to have to push this button twice to go into some different way. Now, the one thing that some of the other radios do, I guess this one doesn't do it, some of the other Kenwoods do, they beep at you in Morse code. And they will tell you what mode you're in and stuff like that. I don't think this has the ability to do any of that fun stuff. You send and receive a main and a box, processor on and off. You can either the meter will either read IC, which is current, or the ALC. You got narrow or wide, and I don't have any extra filters in this. I believe you just lose signal. Though it does have a CW filter. Now, I don't know, do people do CW on these radios? I don't know. Probably not. But it's such a simple radio. You've got the step here, 1 megahertz. Yeah, RIT, noise blanker, attenuator, notch. Then you get your little IF shift. You get notch and squelch. And there's 8 memories. And you can do function A and B. So if you want to do like split mode, you would go over to like the B VFO. See, like I have it set for 29540. Well, I'd come over here to A and go to 29640, and then I could do the 10 meter FM repeaters. And I have done it with it before. So it's just a cool, solid radio, man. No extra stuff. And it's punchy audio.